NFL, now the LA Chargers have added another running back, signing Sony Michel on Wednesday. Remember, Michel was released by the Dolphins as part of roster cuts, trimming down your rosters to the mandatory 53. He was a 2018 first-round pick by the Patriots, spent the 2021 season with the LA Rams, starting 7 games and finishing the season with 845 yards and 5 touchdowns. Michel adds some beef to a talented backfield that is headlined by Austin Ekeler, who thinks he should be your top pick in the fantasy draft if you haven't already done one. Don't believe me? Let him tell you.
You're watching Yahoo Sports, home of Ekeler's Edge.
And we're going to dive into, obviously, fantasy football. We'll dive into, like, my matchups, things like that. A lot of people love seeing those because I'm on a lot of different fantasy teams. And then, we're going to talk some life. Like, I love talking about motivation. I love talking about journeys. And I usually incorporate it into my fantasy, just answers and things like that, and try to give as much value in different ways that I can. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just coming here to hear Austin talk about fantasy. That would be great. But, like, it's also things that I hope you can take a nugget home with yourself or some other way to help you become the best version of yourself. Like, I can say, yeah, I'm going to try as hard as I can, to win for the Chargers. But the fantasy people, like, if I'm like, hey, I'm trying as hard as I can to win for your team, it's the same thing. I'm doing the same thing, same action, but it's just a different messaging.
Austin Ekeler, of course, brings a unique perspective as a current NFL player and a host to guide you through fantasy football.
I would assume I'm the only active player that has a fantasy football show. Like, in my 6 years of being in the NFL, guys don't talk about fantasy. That's not really on our minds. I'm really drawn to communities, and I just see so much opportunity for my life mission, which, like I said, is helping people be the best version of themselves.
A lot of people have you slated to be in that first round. I want you to look into this camera right here and tell them right here why Austin Ekeler of the Los Angeles Chargers.
It comes down to my mentality to be consistent. If I'm healthy on the field, I'm going to be catching the ball, I'm going to be running the ball, I'm going to be efficient. That is solely what I put all of my effort into during off season, during practice, things like that. And so I'm going to be scoring a bunch of touchdowns, catching a bunch of balls, running all over the place. So if you want that consistently every week, then look no further.
You heard it here first.
Bang.
Catch Austin and the Chargers week 2 right here on Fox 11 when the Chargers and Chiefs go at it. Thursday Night Football, September the 15th. Kickoff at 5:15. We'll be on before the game with a special pregame show, and then right after the game with Sports Wrap.